South Africa has told Ghana that Pretoria will not tolerate public spectacles in relation to how Accra is repatriating Ghanaian citizens from South Africa, which has witnessed a rise in anti-immigrant unrest in recent months.
Has the South African government been informed about these 16 Ghanaian nationals who are in the hospitals in South Africa? I have verified with our law enforcement agencies.
The only skill they know is to drink intelligence, in peace, and all of that nonsense, and want to pretend like they are revolutionary as it were.
But for now, how many people do you think are in South Africa?
Foreigners in South Africa, they are plus or minus 30 million.
Gone to South Africa, see individuals from Somalia, from Ethiopia, from Nigeria, from Ghana, from Kenya. They are the ones who are creating jobs where there were no opportunities, or there appear to be no opportunity. They saw them and they are creating jobs.
So the South African foreign minister is warning the Ghanaian government to stop the public spectacle, to stop all the show off, and also saying things that they feel it is not true and all that. And bro, I don't know what South Africans want from Ghana, because Charlie, it is becoming too much. What at all do they even want? And also I have other videos on what is happening in South Africa and what the South African president is saying. This same president is seeking for help from our president, that's President Mahama. Like, I don't get it. Contradictions here and there. Like, bro, I don't want to talk much. Let's go into the video. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. You don't lose anything by liking. Just give the video a thumbs up.
South Africa has told Ghana that Pretoria will not tolerate public spectacles in relation to how Accra is repatriating Ghanaian citizens from South Africa, which has witnessed a rise in anti-immigrant unrest in recent months. In May 2026, Ghana organized repatriation flights for hundreds of its nationals amid unrest targeting foreigners in South Africa. Ghana, through its embassy in South Africa, published a video of its citizens waving the Ghanaian flag in an aircraft to mark their departure from South Africa. In response to the video, South Africa's Foreign Minister Ronald Lamola said on X social network on Saturday, June 6th, 2026, our initial hope was simply to assist the government of Ghana in repatriating its citizens in a humane and cordial manner. However, we will not continue to tolerate public spectacles characterized by incomplete information and outright misinformation devoid of any diplomatic decorum. South Africa, which is Africa's most industrialized economy, has long been a destination for both documented and undocumented African workers. However, due to high unemployment rate of more than 30%, it has witnessed repeated anti-immigrant unrest. Besides Ghana, several African nations, including Nigeria, Mozambique, Malawi, Zimbabwe, and Zambia, have either repatriated or made plans to move their citizens out of South Africa. South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa has urged his countrymen to exercise restraint as the government employs the lawful channels to address the problem of illegal migration.
I've watched your interview with one of the Ghanaian media with shock and disappointment, because the interview is riddled with misinformation and factual inaccuracies. The first factual inaccuracy is that almost 30% of the Ghanaians that you have repatriated and that we have assisted you to repatriate were legal in South Africa. It is not true, and this has been communicated to the High Commissioner. Secondly, that there are 2 Nigerian nationals that have been killed during the current wave of attacks against foreign nationals, particularly of African descent in South Africa. We have verified with all our law enforcement agencies and all state authorities there was no Nigerian, or there is no Nigerian national that has been killed during this current wave of attack. Thirdly, that there are 5 Mozambican nationals that have been killed in South Africa during the current wave of attack. That is also devoid of truth. It's not correct. At least 2 Mozambican nationals have indeed been killed, and the South African Police Service is investigating the matter. It's following leads with possible arrests soon. And as the South African government, we have extended our condolences to the Mozambican government. We deeply regret this incident, and we have condemned it with the strongest terms. Again, the South African government has called for restraint, has called for respect of the rule of law in South Africa, has called for all the groups to stop enforcing immigration laws, and to have, when they have got protests, which is constitutional, to be violent against foreign nationals. So we now have 3 of your statements you have claimed to the media house in Ghana that have been proven to be not true. The 4th lie in the interview is that there are 16 Ghanaian nationals, and we have, as the South African government, been informed about these 16 Ghanaian nationals who are in the hospitals in South Africa. I have verified with our law enforcement agencies. This, again, it is not true. We don't have any verified information, including in our hospitals, that there are such Ghanaian nationals. And if it is indeed correct that they are such, I have also verified with our officials responsible and dealing with the Ghanaian High Commissioner in South Africa, whether they have received a note verbal about these injured Ghanaian nationals in our hospitals. And they've also said they've not received any such note verbal. So this proves your line of communication of intending to engage with the South African government through social media, through interviews, that it is really not helping to restore what should be cordial working relations between the 2 countries. We have had challenges in the past. We have handled them in a cordial manner. That is what we will continue to request you to do. Lastly, with regards to the threat that there is a public pressure for you to consider the nuclear route against South African companies in Ghana, I will tell you that it will not be for the first time that such a thing happens. When the current administration came into office in Ghana, I engaged you about the unbearable working conditions that have come to bear against South African companies since the current administration has come into office. I wrote you a letter. I will not disclose this letter at this stage, but I will be prepared to disclose the letter and send it to the public through Twitter like we are doing when we raised the issue that impacts South African companies in Ghana. So we will not be shocked nor surprised if such a route is taken. It was made clear from the beginning that this is where we are going. So you should not hide behind the current attacks as the basis to move with whatever motive you have against South African companies in Ghana. The South African government continues to remain very cordial with the Ghanaian government, and we deeply regret incidences that have happened against your nationals. Again, we call for the South African public to exercise restraint, to ensure that if there is any demonstration, it's not violent. Ghanaians are our brothers, and we want to continue to live with them, engage with them, and resolve issues amicably. With regards to the call for the debate at the African Union, as the South African government, we have said we remain ready to engage with the Ghanaian government or to engage at the multilateral forum of the African Union on the pull and push factors in relation to irregular migration. Irregular migration is a global challenge. It is not unique to South Africa. It will need all of us as African states to share responsibility to deal with irregular migration.
What I would like to say is that I'm so happy and very glad to what happened today, in which manner that the whole world will now witness what South Africa is all about toward refugees. Because as a refugee in South Africa, you don't have any rights, they don't have anything. They treat you like fishes, they treat you like second-class citizens, they treat you like nothing. Because you could hear from the judgment that the judge gave, he's still denying that there is no xenophobic attacks in South Africa. But we have a lot of people that are there, their husband has been killed. He's still enforcing and trying to encourage the same blatant liars of the city of Cape Town to say that people must go to them and try to tell them of the fears or whatever that is happening in the areas where they used to live. So what I'm trying to say is that it's a big test to South African government and to the world. Remember last time in Parliament, it was during SONA. People fought there, they wanted to chase away F.W. de Klerk and say, citing that he's also, he has committed crime against humanity. But what is xenophobic killings, which we call xenophobic massacre of refugees? Isn't a crime against humanity, but he's still denying it. That's a judge of the High Court. He's saying there is no such kind of thing that shows that people are in danger. Or xenophobia, he did not agree with that. You understand what I'm saying?
But Mr. Balus,
Yeah.
the Judge Tulari did make it very clear that
Yes.
while you are protected by the South African Constitution, you need to abide by the rules and regulations of the country, and therefore you must uphold the municipal bylaws.
Yes, talking about that, that means he doesn't care about people being killed. If I ask him, can he show me any South African that has been burning refugees alive, looting their stuff, who has been convicted in any court of law in South Africa? That's the question to ask. But poor refugees, vulnerable refugees, is taking advantage of them because he's a judge, he's a South African. That's nonsense when he's talking to abide with the law and whatever. That's nonsense. What about his life when he's killed? He doesn't care because he's not his brother. They don't come from the same mother or same father. You understand? So to me, it's nonsense that he was talking. I'm sorry to say that. Upholding the law. Who is going to uphold the law? The person who's been killed?
You say
No.
the judge is talking nonsense?
It is nonsense, of course. Because how can a dead person will uphold the law? You are talking to people that are still alive. You cannot talk to people that are being killed, which is still denying the fact of people being killed in South Africa. Looted their stuff, burning them alive. He said there is no fact of that, there is no fear of that.
So, Mr. Balus, what is the way forward? There is an interim order now for the city of Cape Town to enforce their bylaws. What is the way forward for you?
The way forward, let me tell you, Aisha, you know, someone who's suffering has nothing to lose. You understand what I mean? So if you understand that, when they were fighting their apartheid, they had nothing to lose. They were going, if they've been shot and whatever, they did not care about. And us as well, we have nothing to lose here because we are suffering. If you die, it means they are giving you rest, enough rest, so they can do whatever they want. And if they want to kill, let them come and kill. There are children and women that are sleeping outside. I cannot just take any nonsense judgment that comes today protecting things than the human beings. You understand what I mean? So being a judge is not a problem. And we're coming just here knowingly that in advance that we are just coming to fulfill the formalities, not to come and argue, because we knew there's no refugee that can get justice, can get any justice in South Africa. And that's what we understand. So to us, it's nonsense. If they want to kill, let them come and kill those people because they have nowhere to go. It's sending them back where they used to be. Did he buy them any house where they send them back? That's the question he should ask himself as a judge. You understand what I mean? If I said these people should go back to where they used to be, Did you provide any house? Are you paying them rent? Did you provide them with any work that they can be collecting money or getting money end of the month when they work for? Do you understand? So it doesn't matter to them when it comes to refugees. And this, I declare and say now, apartheid regime can never be declared a crime against humanity. If this xenophobia cannot be declared against a crime against humanity, that means apartheid never been a crime against humanity. They were just crying for nonsense, for waste of time, for lying outside that they were being killed. Because they are doing it to us, they are still doing the same thing that they were crying that apartheid regime used to do to them. You can see the law that came out. Isn't the law that, a repressive law that came during the apartheid regime? That's the same. So I don't see any difference. If the United Nations Security Council is there to judge, they must also consider this xenophobic killings of refugees and everyone that has been involved, even the judges. Remember in Rwanda genocide, even if you were just a stakeholder, you are being held accountable. Even South Africans will have to succumb, will have to undergo the same process that people are going through.
One bag of cement, one block, and all these men can go to the border. We have engineers here, we have architects here, we have quantity surveyors here, we got building inspectors here. We can build that border with a zero budget from the government. They can take all that money and go and use it anywhere, or take the flight or steal it, because they don't want to help the South Africans. The next president in this country is going to come from these people. It's not going to come from political parties. Done with political parties. They are wasting our time and they are making us a business. It's like we are a business. Also, Baba Upoisa, where's the station commander?
If they want their country back, they've got to adopt the same attitude that we do. And the key three words are, when you're called a racist, or you're called a bigot, or you're called right-wing, which I don't even think we are, I just think we're the common sense party, the three key words are, I don't care.
Yes.
So
Unskilled men with no skill, none whatsoever, say somebody took their job. The only skill they know is to drink intelligence, in pace, and all of that nonsense, and want to pretend like they are revolutionary as it were. I don't want your vote if you behave like that. Take them away. If the MK wants it, give it to them. I don't want the votes that says to me, I must hate Africans for you to vote for me. I'll never do that.
But for now, how many people do you think are in South Africa?
Foreigners in South Africa, they are plus or minus 30 million. Plus or minus 30 million. Because if you are going to a border and watch now as we are speaking. Abantu asebehambile South Africa, they are closed. We are reaching a 2 million manch voluntarily leaving South Africa. We are going to reach. We got our intel from the border and from other sources, and we are happy and we appreciate that, and we respect our brothers and sisters who are responding to this call, because we don't want to sound like we are isolating Africans, and but their rules are more stricter than ours, so they should understand when we do this. But izwe alisekho kithi, izwe alikho ngisho kuma politicians. That's why uzobona politician ithi ayo ngamane document abantu kunokuthi sitha bahambe. A leader, a very big leader in a country, hopeless. I need people to understand ukuthi abahola bathi document abantu, they bashota ngokusho ukuthi ayikho into esingayenza. Bashota ngokusho lokho. They have bangene eyintweni that are compromising the country so much that they are losing hope. They are so deep in it that they can't even do anything. They don't know what to do. I'm rescuing them. That's why I will never criticize them. I'm helping them. They should just spread their hands and say, whoever, if I made a deal with you, and then ingane zami zithi hayi baba le deal oyenzile I wrong. Fanele ngithi kuwe mina, ayi baba mphephethe. Ngiyaxolisa mandoda angibonanga kahle sasheshisa. Ayisekho into engayenza makunqaba laba vele lento ngeke uyithole. If ngiqhubeka nalento then ngizokhanda ubudlelwano obubi phakathi kwethu somndeni. That's what the leaders should say to whoever is pressuring them. Ukuthi kulungile savumelana ukuthi mina ngizokwenza ibhizinisi ezweni lakho, mina ngizokugadela abantu bakho ezweni lami. Kodwa njengamanje ke mfowethu uyabona manje abantu base South Africa, this is like 70 million people saying one thing. I can't be alone ngisebenzisa amandla ami to ayisekho into engayenza, because everything has got an expiry date.
Yeah.
So whatever deal that was made, the date has expired now. So ke sicela abantu bakithi ukuthi abaholi, they must appreciate ukuthi we've run this thing for 1 year, 6 months peacefully.
I wrote a letter to President Cyril Ramaphosa.
Yes.
And my argument was South Africa is the anchor economy. Mr. President, don't allow vigilantism to be what defines how you deal with illegality. It is true that every country wants to document all visitors who are in their country. But you don't allow half-naked individuals to be running around the streets of Durban or Johannesburg, moving from shop to shop, trying to determine who is documented or who is not documented. And you don't allow them, particularly when you know that they are using derogatory terms. They are telling Africans, leave. When I wrote that letter, I received several letters from South Africans.
Okay.
Some of them were very angry with me, and I responded to each one of them with history. Some of them then apologized. I told them, you cannot be in a position where you are telling everybody to go, and some of you are saying documented, some of you are saying all must go, and you are creating an environment where you instill fear in everybody. You are looting shops and all these. And none of the South African leading politicians, I listened to them, they were trying to justify the unjustifiable. And their claim is that fellow Africans are taking away jobs from them. A complete lie. Fellow Africans are creating jobs for them. If you've gone to South Africa, see individuals from Somalia, from Ethiopia, from Nigeria, from Ghana, from Kenya. They are the ones who are creating jobs where there were no opportunities, or there appear to be no opportunity. They saw them and they are creating jobs. So even if they were not documented, I would regularize them because they are adding value to the economy.
True.
But because, and permit me to say this very painfully, black South Africans are suffering from what is called the Stockholm Syndrome. They love their tormentors who are white. That is why it is not even xenophobia. A friend of me corrected me. It is Afrophobia.
Okay.
It is Africans that they do not want. It is the whites who still control over 70% of their land. It is the whites who run an enclave called Orania, where blacks are not allowed.
I know of Orania.
So when you look at it and you see even the very cagey responses by Matemela Cyril Ramaphosa, it is only after 1 month that he's now coming up and making an address, trying to be as diplomatic as you can be. But you can see in his heart of hearts that he is with the men and women in the streets. Because these individuals, through their utterances, have led others to commit murder. 5 Mozambicans dead. They have led others to lose their property. The Ghanaians have taken away or repatriated nearly 300 of them. The Nigerians are saying, and then they are saying that their fellow Africans are criminals. You would imagine that if you took away all the criminals, then South Africa would be heaven without any crime. Yet statistics tell us 90% of those in jail and counting are South African male, which means that they are the ones who are committing the crimes. If there is one odd non-South African who is engaged in this, let them be dealt with in accordance with the law. And my good friend Julius Selo Malema said something with which I agree.
Yes.
They have started going for the foreigners. When they are done with the foreigners, they'll now turn on Veda, on Venda, Pedi, and Songa, giving meaning to that famous aphorism, if you remember, City by Martin Niemola. First they came for the Jews. And I said nothing because I was not a Jew. They came for the communists. Then they came for me. And I hope that the administration of Cyril Matamela will do something about it. This idea that they are sending envoys is a scatterbrain. We must call it by its proper name. Don't they have ambassadors in Kenya? Has the Kenyan ambassador, South African ambassador to Kenya spoken about it? And the ambassadors everywhere, have they spoken about and against it? And we must remember, during the struggle against apartheid, statistics tell me that anything between 40,000 and 60,000 South Africans were in exile. In Mozambique, in Tanzania, in Zambia, in Kenya. I remember living next to a South African family in Jericho, and they never left. As I speak to you now, it is estimated that nearly 1 million South Africans live outside of South Africa. Acceptable. So when one sees what is happening, this Afrophobia, where they are telling us, go and repair your country, and I think some of them have never traveled, and they must imagine that in Africa we live on trees, jumping from branch to branch. Perhaps some of them, we should give them a free tour of Africa, including Nairobi and Dar es Salaam and other places, and Abuja, so that they are able to see that we cannot in good nature talk about African integration when we are not working together. And lastly, they lose out. How many people have been taking their children in high school to South Africa? South African universities, tourism. I can tell you in the next 2 months, the South African tourism will be hit and hit hard. Those who are taking their children to university in those places will withdraw their children, and they are going to regret it. But we ought not to do what they are doing. My view, we should not expel them. We should not mistreat them. What we should do is, at their moment of hate, we should show them love. Then they'll be disarmed. Then they'll know that they are in the wrong, hopefully. And then I hope to see that the leaders of these gangs should be arrested and prosecuted. It is only then that I'll know the South African administration is serious.
You know, for me, the issue of immigration in Africa is where the story starts. A lot of times when the conversation takes place, it's like South Africa is the first place where immigration started taking place. But immigration started taking place the moment Africa started receiving independence. So you've got people like Izeke Mpahlele, they left here. You've got the lady that used to be the ex-girlfriend of Nkrumah. He was cheating with her. She was a South African colored lady. And they all left here to go to Ghana because there was no freedom in South Africa. Izeke went to be an author and went to really home in his art there. Miriam Makeba left, people like Yuma Sekela left. They immigrated into Africa, and then sometimes they would also go to the West. And during the time that we got our independence, we had a lot of South Africans who came into Zimbabwe without papers. And the reason they did it is for the same reason why Miriam Makeba left and got passports in places like Guinea, is that Africa had this OAU that says Africa is for all Africans on a pan-African perspective. So South Africans started coming into Zimbabwe. That's why you had Bob Lady in Zimande, people like Thabo Mbeki, people like Moleketi Mbeki, people like Geraldine Fraser, Derek Heinekom, even white people came and they were living in Zimbabwe, for instance. Others were in Mozambique, others were in Zambia. People like Joe Modise were between Zimbabwe and Angola, and sometimes he would also be found in Mozambique because he was coordinating the camps. So we saw South Africans coming into our countries. And contrary to what many people believe, they were not staying in camps. That's why Joe Gabi died in Avondale, a suburb. He was killed there. He was a major member of the ANC and the MK. He was murdered in a suburb because that's where they were living. And because of them coming into our countries without passports, Zimbabwe took a policy to say we will give them passports. And that's why you see that when we had the Wanki campaign with Bokrisani, together with a detachment, their detachment was actually called the Lutuli detachment, that went into Rhodesia then trying to create a logistics line that will eventually create bases inside South Africa and some in Rhodesia so that they can supply that line to start organizing an armed struggle in South Africa. When they fought this war, they eventually ran out of food because for 3 months they were fighting and running from the Rhodesians and the British South Africa Company. And when they eventually ran out of food, they ran into Botswana. And Masire arrested, Kamma arrested them in Botswana for being illegal immigrants.
We say that we are fighting illegal immigrants. We say that we are fighting foreign nationals, right? However, we are looking at people of color. We are fighting people of color. There are still white people who are here illegally. I would like to believe that. And there are, even if they're not here illegally, there's still foreign nationals who are white people. Why are we not telling them to leave? But we're looking at people of color specifically. Because if we look at it, some of these, I don't know, but some of these white people probably have land this side, as Malema was saying, right? I know it could probably be a motive for him to get votes, but how about we look at it in a sense of there might be a sense of truth in what he's saying?
Realize something terrifying. The architects of apartheid, they are laughing at us from the grave, because the ultimate victory of the apartheid regime wasn't just an economic one, it was a psychological one. They didn't just steal the land and the wealth, they also successfully planted a seed of division that we are now watering ourselves. You like my flower?
What we know about South Africa is that this is not the first time something of this nature has taken place. You know, South Africa has a history of what they call xenophobic attacks.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting how it's difficult to even appreciate, honestly, just coming from where I come from, how in a state of hunger, your mind goes to, let me attack another person. Like it's a very interesting way of thinking, rationalizing action. So it's, for me, I always look at it and it always really shocks me because I don't get how that becomes what you think is a natural solution to solve your problems. And obviously, it's also, in addition to that, just sad. Like, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It's really painful. You know, you were the victim of violence. Your lineage, your kin, your family, your country. And now you are the perpetrator. Yikes.
Yeah.
How intense, guys. It's very, very intense. And it's like, yo, how... Yeah, I'm honestly debilitated when I think about this issue.
Now we are fighting for tuck shops. Do we have people who are readily available if the tuck shops were to be vacated tomorrow to take over the tuck shops?
We are not ready.
We are not ready. We have never been ready as black people. Something about us makes us not to be ready all the time.
But honestly, isn't this, for an example, supposed to be the project of government?
Sure.
That makes entrepreneurs. Let's make an example. Anyway, I've got a tuck shop in Joburg.
Congratulations.
And it's
Conda, you selling
everything that they said.
I'll go and buy that.
Please do. Sure. So one of the things that are important is we've got capacity.
We do.
We've got capacity and we can note them one by one.
Sure.
The biggest problem is the support is not there. These people are circulating a lot of money from their government, and it's doing a lot, because if they say that the more than 70 billion it's circulating amongst the tuck shops, that it means it's big business.
It's very big business, which is allowed to launder money out of South Africa.
Yes.
Because it is not controlled by the banking system of South Africa.
Yes.
And it is a deliberate thing because the illicit monies that are going out are also supported by the banking system. And the banking system says we cannot now take another burden of dealing with illicit. Once we are caught, we might be in trouble. Our license might be.
And also products tends to be illicit products that come in.
and also products that are killing our people. You're going
You know, it's just crazy how these people are just contradicting themselves. The foreign minister of South Africa is trying to say that the way we are going about all these things is too much, and also some of the things that the foreign minister and some of the officials are saying online, basically granting interviews, are not true and all that. And I'm like, bro, they are saying what they want to say or they feel it is the truth. You also have media houses, media stations in your country. Just grant your interview and just say whatever you want to say. You understand? I don't understand why they still want to like poke nose into our business. Like what? What exactly these people? And you know, the president is now seeking our president's help. You are seeking his help and you are saying all these things. How do we help you? How do we help you? They've seen that this thing is actually now basically damaging their reputation and all that, and they are now coming out to speak. When people were being unalived, when people were being beaten, shops were being looted, I have not seen them coming out to say anything. It is just recently that the president had, I think, something to say in their parliament, and he addressed this. That was it. We've not heard anything from the officials like sympathizing with the African nationals, and all of a sudden you people are concerned about what our minister and our officials are saying online because you feel it is damaging your reputation. What your people are doing is even damaging your reputation more than what our people are saying. So you guys should stop all these things that you are doing. It's not nice. I don't know what exactly they even want from Ghana right now. Charlie, me, I'm tired of these people. Thank you so much for watching.